seconds and counting. 25 seconds and counting. We are still go. 20 seconds. Guidance alert. The guidance system now going internal. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good evening to viewers in Europe and Africa. Good afternoon to viewers in the Western Hemisphere. Good very early morning to folks in the Pacific Rim, and welcome to the Angry Astronaut Q&A discussion about 3I, because we're only 5 days away from our planet's closest approach, this mysterious interstellar object. Hope you guys are all doing well. Let's go ahead and sound off. Where's everybody watching from right now? Looks like we have a big crowd already. It's just mind-boggling. Really appreciate you guys joining us today. Over 350 people. Oh my God, Rodney, thank you so much. What a generous contribution from New Zealand. Wow. Thank you. Okay, so we got a connection issue, looks like. I don't know if we have this. Let's go ahead and see. Got a new mic, so we got mic issues again, it seems. So getting a new laptop didn't solve the problem. Dang it. Getting a new laptop didn't seem to solve the problem. We'll do the best we can tonight, folks. We're going to have to run another live stream in the future designed to fix the audio. So for what it's worth, I do apologize for this, but not sure why they're static. Robert, thank you so much. Really appreciate your support. Really, really appreciate it coming in. Thank you very much. We will just do the best we can with this tonight, folks, and then we'll do a special live stream here in the near future designed to fix my audio. In the meantime, let me go ahead and tweak a couple little audio uh, features to see if that makes any sort of difference. Just 1 second here. I'm tweaking a couple of things. Okay. Yeah, it's odd. We have a preview from our producer, and so far everything seems good from his side. So once again, I don't know what else to tell you folks at the moment, but what we will do is we will have another a future live stream to deal with it. It's not the microphone, because I use this very microphone for all of my recorded episodes, which you guys watch all the time, and you've noticed, I'm sure, that there are no audio issues on my recorded stuff. So Kendrick, hello, and hello France, thank you so much. Hello Kentucky, thank you. Oh, it is better. Okay, I turned off the echo cancellation. I thought I had it turned off already, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see. We'll do the best we can. That's all I can say. Hello, Australia. Thank you very much for checking in. Yes, this is a new blazer that I got in Sweden. How about that? Okay, a lot of people saying that it's better. That could, again, it could have something to do with the echo cancellation. So fingers crossed. Let's hope that that is the issue. A lot of people saying it's okay. Once again, where are you checking in from? Texas. Hello, Texas. Thank you very much for checking in today. Really, really appreciate it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Who else is Rochester? Hello, and hello, Bergen, Norway. Really appreciate you checking in. Thank you very much. So Glad to hear that things are improving. Really appreciate it. Yeah, this is a nice little blazer. Got it for a great price in Sweden. Hello, Glasgow. Thank you very much. In Oklahoma and Toronto, Orlando, Chicago. Thank you very much. And Norway, Northampton. Hello, hello, Eugene. Hello, Netherlands and San Diego, Morocco, Mims, Florida, Philadelphia, Space Coast, Florida, North Carolina, London. Hello, Melbourne and Cape Town, British Columbia. Really appreciate it. Taunton, Somerset, and Mike D. Thank you so much for your support. Looks like I've got. Are we still? We having any problems with the broadcast producer? I showed us a momentary freeze. Are we good? Anyway, I'm just going to keep talking, and we'll go from there. So, folks, at this point, at this point, we're just going to go ahead and start taking questions about 3I Atlas. We are 5 days away, as I mentioned before, from our close approach with 3I Atlas. Once again, we call it close approach, but really we are still a huge distance, well over 1 astronomical unit, the vicinity of a couple 100 million kilometers away from 3I Atlas. So it's still a massive distance, but this is the closest that we are going to get to this object. And the reason that we got close now is because the trajectories of ourselves and 3I Atlas have been converging this whole time since 3I Atlas achieved perihelion, its closest approach with the sun, and our planet was orbiting and making a turn around the sun at the same time. And so the two paths started to converge, but now they're going to diverge after the 19th. And 3I Atlas will begin making its way out of the solar system towards Jupiter, and we will continue on our orbit. So in any event, here we are. And I am actually utilizing what should be a very high-speed internet connection at a hotel that has a dedicated fiber connection. So I don't know about the internet. In any event, here we go. All we'll do is I think we have a little bit of a struggle from the producer's side that's causing a little bit of this. So we're just going to do our best. We're going to do our best. And once again, I'm sorry. Okay. Opinion on why is NASA hiding information? Why do you think they hid the crappy picture for so long? That's a good question. I wish I knew. Because NASA is obviously not telling us some things. And I'm going to go ahead and have the producer bring up photo 1, image 1 first to illustrate what I am talking about when you get a chance, producer. So I can give you an idea of, looks like we're still having some freezes. Okay, so here's our image. As you can see, this coma is a teardrop coma. This is very recent, by the way, just a couple of days ago that this image was captured by a very sophisticated telescope. Are we frozen, producer? I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and pull up another OBS. Let's try that. Okay. We're going to try another OBS, guys. Just 1 second. Bear with us. We're going to give this another shot. Hello, once again, folks. I'm very sorry for what's going on right now. I have a feeling that what we have discovered is it's a connection issue with YouTube at the moment. This appears to be a YouTube problem. Once again, really apologize. All I can say is that we're going to struggle with this and do the absolute best that we can to bring you some kind of broadcast tonight. So once again, I'm very, very sorry. All we can do is struggle through this and try to make things work. Bear with me for just a second here. Okay. Let's see. Let's go ahead and bring that. Let's bring that image back up. What we're doing is we're bringing up an image of a coma pointing. There we are. We have a coma pointing at the sun. You can see it's a teardrop, and the pointy end of the teardrop, so to speak, is supposed to be pointing away from the sun. But it isn't. It's pointing towards the sun. This is something that has happened again and again and again and again. We have had an anti-tail, in other words, a sunward pointing tail, and we've had a sunward pointing coma for months with this object, and NASA has yet to acknowledge it. This should not be happening. Now, let me give you an idea of what Avi Loeb thinks might have happened with this object. Avi suggests that the teardrop shape of the coma in post-perihelion images of 3I Atlas is the result of a large number of macroscopic, non-volatile objects that separated from the object as a result of its non-gravitational adjustment from the sun. The idea is that if there was something on 3I Atlas that caused it to shift in its trajectory a little bit, right? And regardless of what caused it to shift, if it were surrounded by this cloud of objects, that would also, the objects might not have shifted with it. The objects would have been left in a teardrop shape pointing back at the sun with the coma leading ahead of it. Once again, if that is the case, then this has never happened with a natural comet. This cloud of weird objects, probably larger objects, and by larger, we could be talking about a few centimeters across or perhaps a few millimeters across, who knows, but bigger than the types of dust and gas particles that we usually associate with a cometary coma that did not shift with the nucleus as the nucleus changed trajectory. And so we have this coma left behind pointing at the sun. So that could be. And once again, regardless of what it is, what is so irresponsible and so frustrating is the fact that NASA is not telling us that this is happening at all. NASA has not acknowledged how weird this anomaly is at all. Jennifer, thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. You're in South Carolina. Cool. Yep. My son is actually going to school in Clemson. He's actually with me right now. I'm currently in Bristol, just so you folks know. I'm just taking my son around to show him some places in the UK that he's never seen. And he's out at the pub tonight. So I thought I'd go ahead and do a live stream with you folks. Okay. So let's go ahead and move on to our next image, please. Image number 2. And as we continue this this conversation, okay, now this is an image of 3I Atlas's X-ray profile. For the first time, an X-rays were picked up from 3I Atlas, and this created some excitement for a little while. And what happens is, this is most probably, just so you guys know, a natural phenomena. X-ray emanations from a comet's coma are not atypical. These sorts of things do happen with natural comets. And the reason it happens is when the solar wind interacts with a comet's coma, with the particles that are in the coma of a comet. the solar wind is hitting these particles, and the particles can give off X-rays as this energetic interaction between these particles and the solar wind happen. So X-ray emanations can indeed come from a comet, especially dim, faint X-ray emanations, which is what we're getting right now. So far, we haven't seen anything associated with these X-rays that would suggest that there's anything unnatural going on with that. Is the Jupiter Hill radius computed in relation to 3i Atlas speed, or it is a constant? It is a constant. Let me give you the Hill radius of any planet is the distance where the gravity of the planet overcomes the gravitational pull of the sun. And the Hill radius is obviously bigger for planets that are larger and have a stronger gravitational pull. Jupiter's Hill radius is quite large. And had 3i Atlas continued on the trajectory that it was traveling on prior to perihelion, prior to its close approach to the sun, it would have missed Jupiter's Hill radius by hundreds of thousands of kilometers. It would have missed it by a considerable distance. However, what ended up happening is that little shift in trajectory that 3i Atlas experienced after perihelion. And once again, we don't know. We don't know exactly what happened at perihelion to cause this shift in trajectory. There certainly is a natural explanation as to how it could have happened, if it were a comet. But what is interesting is that this NGA shift was almost precisely enough to bring 3i Atlas into contact with Jupiter's Hill radius. It is either going to barely miss it, or it's going to barely pass inside of the Hill radius, or it's going to intersect with it exactly. Either way, regardless of what happens here, it's going to be close enough that if it were to release probes of some kind, those probes would have a very short journey to take to wind up in what is called Jupiter's Lagrange points. And those Lagrange points are an area where the sun's gravitational pull and Jupiter's gravitational pull cancel one another out. John Morgan, thank you so much for the tenor. Really, really appreciate that. So yeah, the Hill radius anomaly, by the way, is one of the wildest. It is so strange indeed, that this is happening. And once again, does NASA say anything about it? No, they don't say a damn thing. Let's go ahead and bring up our next image, please. All right, so once again, this is another relatively recent image captured by one of our larger telescopes. And again, a close-up on the 3i Atlas's coma. And we've been seeing this over and over and over again. The bright little speck at the center of this cloud of the coma is not exactly the nucleus, but a highly compacted field of gas and dust or something that is reflecting a lot of light, or perhaps giving off its own light. We really don't know. But then again, the coma is pointing at the sun. This teardrop shape should be pointing away from the sun. The solar wind should be pushing the coma, the gas and the dust. These microscopic particles should be getting pushed away from the sun, and they're not. 3i Atlas gave off some sort of unknown discharge as it left perihelion. I've seen no confirmed information about that. I'm really, really careful about what I say about, the rumors with 3i Atlas, because there are loads of them. I usually wait for Avi Loeb to confirm something before I will say anything about it. Okay, let's see. Being seeded by 3i Atlas panspermia, that is very possible. That's even been suggested by the mainstream astronomical community, because 3I Atlas is loaded with all kinds of organic molecules, as many comets are. Again, I'm not saying 3I Atlas is a comet, but it has those things in common. Actually, has lots of organic molecules, prebiotic, but still organic. And these sorts of objects could seed various solar systems with the necessary organic molecules for life to begin to evolve. And if this is an object that is seeding perhaps the moons of Jupiter with the necessary organic molecules, maybe seeding like Callisto, Europa, those sorts of things, with organic molecules, very, very feasible that it could be done. And again, if you wanted to do that without crashing your entire ship into Jupiter, the best place to go would be Jupiter's hill radius, that point where Jupiter's gravity takes over from the sun, where the sun is no longer going to affect your probe's trajectory. Instead, Jupiter will take over, or it will be balanced out. So again, this is a hugely significant characteristic of 3I Atlas, a huge, huge thing. And yet at the same time, does NASA say anything about this? The hill radius? No, they don't say a damn thing. And it is so, Ray's astrophotography, best, top notch. If you haven't gone to Ray's astrophotography, absolutely, absolutely have to. This guy is constantly photographing 3I Atlas. He's super open-minded. I mean, he's definitely a hardcore astronomer, and he usually calls 3I Atlas a comet. But that being the case, he's still very open-minded, and he's also saying what all of us know, that this object is bizarre, that this object differs from natural comets in many important respects, and we should be excited about that. We need to take that very, very seriously. And instead, what does NASA say? Oh, it's just kind of like a different brand of coffee. You like French roast, and I like something from Brazil. Come on. It's not even remotely like that. Is it possible to predict future trajectory of 3I Atlas after it passes Jupiter? Yes, indeed. And this is something that I actually researched, and nobody else seems to have come up with this yet. I used a lot of AI assets and cross-referenced them to make sure that it wasn't just one AI making things up. It is actually heading for a very mysterious solar system, where something very strange has happened. And let me go ahead and tell you the name of that solar system, just so you know. The solar system is known as TYC 82412652. And in the 1980s, we found this solar system, and it was surrounded by this cloud of dust and gas, just like, your average evolving solar system. It's a young star, by the way, a star very similar to ours, but younger. And this cloud of gas and dust should, over the course of millions of years, coalesce into planets and asteroids, that sort of thing. But instead, the gas and dust vanished in the space of a few years. In the 80s, late 80s, it looked totally healthy and exactly the amount of dust that we would expect. And all of a sudden, in the early 2000s, in the space of 3 to 5 years, it was gone. All the dust vanished. And to this day, we have no idea what made that happen. We are talking trillions and trillions and trillions of tons of material has just disappeared into thin air. It wasn't a black hole. It wasn't any natural phenomenon that we can explain. Could 3I Atlas taxi and stay in Jupiter's orbit and come back? Theoretically, but it would require an enormous amount of power, assuming 3I Atlas is as big and as heavy as we think it is. 3I Atlas is not going to be passing very close to Jupiter, and even if it changed its trajectory a lot to where Jupiter's gravity grabbed hold of it, as fast as this thing is going, it would still require a massive amount of thrust in the opposite direction in order to change its trajectory. In my opinion, if 3i Atlas really wanted to stay in our solar system, it would have used its perihelion, its close approach with the sun to do that. The sun's gravity, of course, being massive compared to Jupiter's. I think it would have used that in order to stay in our solar system, but I could be wrong. Who knows? Again, if this thing is artificial or has artificial modifications, who knows what it's really capable of. Will observations on the 19th give us confirmation of the composition of 3i Atlas? It will definitely give us a lot more information. And the reason for that is James Webb is going to take another close look at 3i Atlas. And this time, 3i Atlas will be twice as close as it was the last time that James Webb looked at it. And James Webb, being an infrared telescope, it's very good with spectrographic analyses. So chances are we're going to learn a lot more about its composition than we have known before. And once again, this is something that we could have been doing all along, but James Webb has been pointed at other targets. They've been waiting until this close approach to take another look at 3i Atlas with James Webb. The gamma ray burst, longest ever detected, happening within 24 hours of our first sighting of 3i Atlas. This is an interesting event that's actually been talked about quite a bit online. Avi Loeb was actually questioned about it. That is very odd. Again, strained. There's no way to control when we would have noticed 3i Atlas, when we would have spotted it, because 3i Atlas has been on its way into the solar system for a very long time. The fact that we happened to notice that gamma ray burst at about the same time as we noticed, well, the gamma ray burst rather hit us at about the same time as we noticed 3i Atlas, there doesn't seem to be a connection there. It's an interesting coincidence, but there's no, we could have noticed 3i Atlas a lot earlier, or we could have noticed it a lot later. It's really hard to say. But I don't think there's a connection there. Gabe, thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you so much. Don't think the powers that be will ever disclose the truth. I tend to agree, given how NASA has just intentionally not even mentioned anything yet. Let's go ahead and pull up the next one. I think that might be some footage here, but let's go ahead. And that's from Ray's Astrophotography. If not, it might be another image. Either one, go ahead and show it to his producer. Chris, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, Chris. Thank you so much. Okay. Yep, there we go.
So what do you guys think? Does it have
from Ray's Astrophotography? Again, look at
a
that
little bit of a
rotation.
structure, like a wings or a blades, that it is moving?
Wow, just look at that.
That's what I see it.
This is something that Ray has talked about quite a number of times, is that
may not be there. Maybe it is elongated
gas
structure.
is traveling with it.
We don't know, but
and it almost looks more like a hurricane in space or something.
So what do you guys think? Does it have,
because even though, with all the times we've seen
a little bit of a structure, like a wings or a blades, that it is moving?
That shouldn't happen.
That's what I see it.
You shouldn't get rotation of the coma, the gas in the coma.
May not be there. Maybe it is elongated.
The nucleus is
structure.
very small. It's only a
few
kilometers in diameter. So it has virtually no gravitational pull. That being the case, then the gas should not be rotating in conjunction with the object. And yet it is. Very strange. And once again, Ray has mentioned many times that he's never seen a comet do that. So yeah, crazy stuff. Gamma ray burst was 3i Atlas exiting the wormhole. You know what an interesting idea. I like that, but unfortunately that's not true, because as we went back into the records of our telescopes, and what they saw without us understanding what they're seeing, we actually saw 3i Atlas months before July. We just didn't know. We didn't know what it was at the time. So in any event, is there noise from the video? I didn't realize that. Ray, I'm sorry if I didn't know there was audio on this. Let's go ahead and go to the next one. Let's go to the next image. Okay, so this is just another image of the 3I Atlas coma, again pointing at the sun. Again, it frustrates the hell out of me that NASA, ESA, nobody talks about this. Um, because this just shouldn't be happening. A coma is blown the other way by the solar wind. It's as absurd as trying to make any headway against a category 5 hurricane, actually something way more powerful than a category 5 hurricane blasting straight at you. You're not going to be able to walk against that, and that is as impossible as what we are looking at here. And if somebody tells you that, oh yeah, there have been other comets that have done this, don't believe them, because it isn't true. Believe me, I have seen, including respected astronomers, who have brought up examples of natural comets that supposedly have done this, and none of the examples are true. None of them are true. All of them are either, number one, optical illusions, which is something that happens when we cross the orbital path of the comet. It looks like something is pointing at the sun. That's number one. And number two is if there's a little bit of outgassing from a comet that is a long ways away from the sun, so far away that the solar wind is just a little whisper of what it is for 3I Atlas. Less than 1% as powerful as the solar wind the 3I Atlas experiences. Those are the only examples. Other than that, there is no example of an entire cometary coma pointing at the sun for weeks and weeks and weeks. It's ridiculous, really ridiculous. Oh yeah, I've heard it's green at the moment. It is indeed. Let's go ahead and bring up another image if we have one. I think we have one of 3I Atlas being green. There we go. There we go. And once again, this is the lovely, lovely image from an amateur astronomer. We have two tails, as you can see behind it. That is fairly natural. But again, if it were an asteroid ship of some kind that had accumulated lots and lots of gas and dust during its long journey between the stars, it would do the same thing. But you have a dust tail and an ion tail. But also at the front of the coma, you can see this little pinprick of light. And actually, that pinprick of light goes out hundreds of thousands of kilometers towards the sun. Once again, that should never be happening. Has Avi Loeb changed the rating? I haven't heard him changing the rating on the Avi scale. Right now, he's still at a 4. He might bump it up to a 5 or a 6 sometime soon, but right now, he's still at a 4. Okay, I think we may have one more piece of footage. This one is very interesting, and it's been talked about a lot. And once again, this is legit here. This isn't okay. You can see in the footage here these little dots. See these little bright lights? And this was captured actually and analyzed by a Thai astronomer. I'm forgetting his name. I'm sorry. But see those little dots? Once again, that has been interpreted as perhaps little objects separating from the coma, as if maybe 3I Atlas were starting to disintegrate, but we haven't seen that actually. We haven't seen any evidence to suggest that 3I Atlas is disintegrating at all. Instead, all we are seeing is what appear to be little objects that have nothing to do with the coma, all spinning around inside or has nothing to do with the nucleus, rather, all spinning around inside the coma. Once again, this should not be happening. The coma, the nucleus, rather, does not have the gravitational pull to make independent objects spin around it. If it is ejecting objects, these objects should go spiraling off into space. They should not stay contained within this within the coma and orbiting the nucleus, as appears to be happening here. Again, no way in hell should this be happening. A nucleus doesn't have the gravitational pull to keep objects that we can see, that we can resolve, contained. I mean, it's just crazy that this is happening. And again, this has been analyzed. I forget, he's a Thai astronomer. I forget his name, but he is highly respected. And he has confirmed that this is something that's actually happening in the coma of 3I Atlas. And again, yes, sending probes. There have been those, Dragon, that have suggested that maybe this is what's going on. That we have these probes that are being dispatched. They orbit around the nucleus for a little while, preparing to go on their way to intercept their targets, perhaps intercept us, because remember, 3I Atlas is about to make its close approach to our planet. Maybe they're going to go ahead and change direction, start heading in our direction. Once again, that doesn't intimidate me, because if 3I Atlas had it designs on doing us any harm, it would have done it earlier, would have used the sun to send an object to crash into us, something along those lines. So again, this is fascinating footage, and it really stands out. It's really distinctive. We have seen things like this with natural comets, but only with natural comets that are breaking apart, that are disintegrating. But instead, what 3I Atlas seems to be doing is these objects are there, they orbit for a while, and then they're gone. They disappear. And the nucleus and the object remains intact. Crazy and insanely exciting. Let me tell you, 3I Atlas, we are fortunate. We are so fortunate. It gets me so angry that mainstream astronomers, that NASA, that nobody acknowledges just how significant this moment is. And I'll close by saying this. Everybody should be getting worked up about this, even if you think that there's no chance whatsoever that this is the product of an alien civilization, that this was not sent here by design. People who talk that way are out of their minds, whatever. Even if you think this is natural, 3I Atlas is doing things right now at this moment that no other object that has ever passed through the solar system, that we have observed anyway, has ever done. Think about that. The entire history of astronomy, all the time that we have spent watching the sky, watching comets and other objects passing through our solar system, and only this one has done the things that it has been doing. And I think everybody should be incredibly excited about it, regardless of what they believe. And the fact that we're not getting that level of excitement out of NASA and others is beyond frustrating. And in my opinion, really irresponsible if they want people to be excited about science and excited about astronomy. Thank you very much for watching this evening. Really appreciate you folks tuning in. We may be transitioning over to some animations. I'm not sure, but just stay tuned just in case we do that. Transitioning over to some animations from our fantastic animator, Digital VOODOO, who does such great work for all of us. Really appreciate you guys joining me this evening. And until next time, stay angry about space.